Hello, friends. Welcome to iLive, Life on Purpose. Today, I'm going to share with you the one constant enemy keeping you from success and achievement. This enemy, together with its cousins, subjects most of us into a life of mediocrity, poverty, and merely getting by. And so I'll be sharing some thoughts on that with you today. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Michael Charles from Leading with Intent, where I help you to master the essentials of life, money, and relationships. Secrets of intentional living so you can create lasting results, both in your personal and your professional life, right? Please, if you are new, comment below, let me know. And even if you're not new too, right? Comment below and let me know where you're watching from, right? And while you're at it, right, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I go live or upload a new video. Now, for the past few weeks, we've been talking about categories of income and how you can become an entrepreneur so you can enjoy a few of these types of income and, frankly, enjoy the true freedom and that you are meant to have as an individual, as a human being. Now, if you missed any of those videos, they are available on the channel for you to watch at your leisure. And so feel free to go back later after this live and just watch those videos and comment. Let me know when you're watching, any thoughts that you may have. Now, let's get back to today's topic. A constant enemy of success, right? Growth and achievement, and how to overcome it. Now, this is part of a series I taught about 2 years ago, and this enemy is one of a trio of enemies that keep most people pinned down to a life of mediocrity and never fully living, right? That enemy is fear. Let me first start by saying this, right? Because we all have fears. And the things that I shared last week with you guys, and that my guests have shared with you, to take action on any of those, it's going to require that you take a step into the unknown. And taking a step into the unknown can be downright scary for most of us. A lot of people don't want to do that, and they don't understand how they could do that. Taking a step into the unknown, living with the uncertainty. Because we were born with what we're calling fear reflexes to protect and keep us safe from physical and emotional harm. What we call reflex here is a programming of the subconscious mind, a learned behavior taken over by our subconscious mind as we grew up. Whether we were a child then and we're a child now, we tend to let those control us. As you all know, we are controlled by our own unconscious mind. Now, if you've got burned, for example, as a child on a hot stove when you're a baby or a young person, chances are whenever your hand goes over a hot stove again, your body automatically reacts and you quickly pull your hands away in fear of not burning your hand again. However, if you did not feel pain the first time, but instead it was a pleasurable experience, then the second time you saw a hot stove, you wouldn't care and would probably touch it with no sort of fear reaction. Right? The same thing that can happen through repetition and learning, right? Repetitious learning, developing what we call habits. Now, this type of learned fear is what we call survival fear. Elizabeth Gilbert, a New York Times bestselling author, wrote in her book and said, "Fear hates uncertain outcomes." Right? Not knowing that the outcome is certain is what creates this fear. And in situations where there is uncertainty or anything unknown, our subconscious mind kicks into fear mode because it doesn't know what to expect. And that's why most people are afraid of change, right? They don't know what to expect, harm or pleasure. The subconscious mind is actually doing one of its primary and essential job, and that is to protect you protecting you from physical harm, injury, or from mental harm, right? Most of the time, and that is in the form of shame and embarrassment. And so we have two types of fear: fear to ensure our survival as a being, as a living physical being, and fear to protect us from shame and embarrassment. Both are without any doubt a very natural process that begins with the subconscious mind. And our body expresses this vibrational energy, right? Or what we call emotion, right? Energy in motion, causing us to react the way we do when we face the unknown. Now, why don't you maybe take a minute and put a comment down below. What are your thoughts about fear and fear of the unknown and uncertainty? And when was the last time you didn't do something that you knew that you could do or should have done because of fear? Go ahead and comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are and whether you've experienced this before. Let me turn on my comment view so I can see anyone commenting as you do. So let's keep going, right? So we say fear is essentially nothing more than a mental state, right? Long ago, I heard a definition of fear, which is true for most things that we agonize about. And I think I shared this with you a couple of weeks ago. I shared that I was a part of an MLM, essentially multi-level marketing business, where I learned a lot of the things that have served as a foundation for where I am right now and what I've built over the years, right? And this is this definition, and what I'm going to share with you. It's really an acronym for the word fear. It reads false evidence appearing real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. However, that does not reduce its importance as a mechanism for our protection or our survival. Right? It is a necessary part of life. Right? And so we must learn to handle it better, handle fear better than we have up until now. Why, you may ask? Well, you probably already know this, because it is true that most of what we fear is a false evidence of something that appears to be real, something that appears to be real, right? It is some cooked up story we make up in our imagination, or a belief we adopted at a very young age. And for some of us, that we experience a tragedy that we experience that causes us to have this sort of fear, this deep emotional fear. However, at its core, this story that we tell ourselves, or this story that we make up, this belief, it has no universal truth as its foundation. But even then, that doesn't stop it from immobilizing you from doing the very thing that you know you need to do to succeed, does it? Right? Keeping you from taking action and doing things that would improve your life and the life of the people you care about the most. A clear example of this is me, for example, yours truly, right? Getting on video and sharing a message like this at one time with you was a struggle. It was a huge no. There was no way I was going to do this. As a matter of fact, I think I shared a story with you, and some of you know this. When I first began with the Joe Maxwell team, one of my mentors was encouraging me to get on video and present and share a story, and to send that story over for them to critique me as a presenter. And I could never muster the courage to actually do that. And mind you, this was initially for an audience of one. And eventually, of course, that video would probably be shown to other people, but I couldn't muster the courage to do that. Yeah, and I talk about I talk about it for a while, and frankly, talk myself out of it many times. Now, because of my fear and how people would look at me and receive my message, I never could muster the courage to actually get on video until a couple of years ago when a mentor of me helped really truly helped me overcome that fear of embarrassment that I had. And there were many other things in my life. I could share dozens of stories with you where fear had in the past stopped me from doing something that I know I should do. Now, I've conquered this fear of getting on video. I mean, after all, you're watching me now live on video, aren't you? But in general, right? They are different things, and I'm calling them ghost of fears. There are about 6 ghosts of fears. And frankly, I don't have time to go into the details of this with you now, but I'll just list them here for you. And I usually would go over these in detail with people who are a part of my iLive mentorship and coaching community, a community where I dive deeper into concepts like these and help them achieve desired results in their lives. But let me take some time here and just share these 6 ghosts of fear with you in order of, frankly, most common appearance. But for some of you, it may appear in different ways. But the first one is poverty, right? It's one of the ghosts of fear. And that is losing your money and all of your possessions. Many of you, and frankly me, right? At some point, we have this fear of losing the things that we own and going broke, right? We sometimes make up stories of, for instance, being late for work just out of I don't know, not or having to stop for a red light. We make up this whole story of us getting fired and us becoming homeless. I mean, that's the story. Some of these stories that we make up and tell ourselves that essentially set us in a spiral. The second ghost of fear is criticism, right? Most of us have this fear of what people say about us in a negative way. And that we let that stop us from moving on and doing the very thing that we know we need to do to achieve our goals. The third ghost of fear is ill health, right? Losing our health. And a lot of time, this could be mental. Right? Mental health, our capacity to think, our capacity to take care of ourselves. And very soon, I'm going to share a guest with you who's going to share some thoughts and frankly, share some concepts with you around mental health. You can maybe look out for that in the next 3 weeks or so, and I'll be bringing on a guest to do just that. But it's something that a lot of people fear. As they grow older, they fear losing their mental capacity or maybe getting into an accident and having to lose your mental capacity. Now, number 4 is the fourth ghost of love is what we call lust of fear is that we call lust of love. Right? Losing the love and admiration of someone that who once loved us. It's something everyone fears. We fear that the people we love the most will no longer love us because of something we're doing and that they don't agree with. And a lot of us have this fear and not living in your truth. And I know what that's like, and many of you know what that's like. It could be crippling. But again, it's one of the ghosts of fear. Now, we have another one, right? Ghost of fear, and that's old age. Realizing that you're getting old and closer to the end of your life every day. A lot of us let that stop us from doing the things that we know we need to do, right? It's a fear of being older and growing old and dying. And I mean, of growing older. The next ghost of fear is dying, really, right? Death. Right? Mostly dying young through maybe a sickness or an accident. And that a lot of people, that stops them from doing things that they could be doing to live fully and truly express their creativity. Now, comment below, let me know which of these ghosts of fear spooks you the most and paralyzes you from taking action where you know for sure action is required. Now, let's talk about how we deal with fear. I mean, it wouldn't be fair to share these different ideas about fear, what fear is, and how it paralyzes us, and the different thought process and the different mental model behind fear, and not share any ideas on how you could actually overcome and, frankly, deal with fear. And I hope some of you find this useful as you live your life and go throughout your day. And comment below. Let me know if any of these resonate with you, or maybe there's one of those that you've applied over the past few weeks, or maybe sometimes in the past where you've had some results. Now, the first thing you can do to deal with fear itself is being courageous in the face of fear. Now, a lot of people have the one concept of being courageous. But being courageous and being brave is not the same as being fearless, right? Fearlessness means that you don't know what the word danger means, and the word being scared, you just don't know what it means. The only true fearless people that any one of us have ever met are sociopaths or some reckless 2-year-old just exploring their world. Now, you cannot and should not get rid of fear. As I said earlier, we were born with reflexes to protect us from harm and ensure our survival as human beings. Because if you didn't have it, this survival mechanism, you would probably live a short life, in an insanely crazy and really stupid life, right? The goal is not to be fearless, but the goal is to have enough courage to take action in the face of fear and live in your truth of creativity, seeking fuller expansion and fuller expression of who you are and whose you are, right? Without a doubt, living a creative and fruitful life require you to enter into a space of uncertainty, right? The unknown. And our basic reflexes, our natural tendency in those moments is to run away from anything that our subconscious, right? The other than conscious mind does not recognize as pleasant and normal, right? And until we've experienced this, until we realize that it brings joy and that it's not as bad as our reflexes led us to believe, I don't know we can ever overcome this, right? Because that's at the point where we can do that. And I don't remember who said this specifically, but someone once described fear as a mall cop who think he's a Navy SEAL. I don't know about you, but I can relate to this to this, right? Fear is a mall cop pretending to be a Navy SEAL. Now, does fear play the role of a Navy SEAL in your life when all it is simply a mall cop? What do you think? Comment and let me know. Now, the second way to deal with fear beyond just beyond recognizing it for what it is to accept it, right? Once you recognize fear as, a mall cop trying to act bigger and more tough and more lethal than it actually is, it's to accept that, right? I accept and recognize that fear is a part of who you are, right? At every moment of your life, right? Learn to make space for fear and learn that your fear and your need for fuller expression, fuller expansion of who you are must coexist. Right? There are a couple ways you can do this, right? And one way is to remind yourself that, and better yet, write down previous times in your life when you had succeeded in spite of fear, only because you had the courage to take the leap of faith. Essentially, essentially doing this is feeding your subconscious mind as much evidence as you possibly can, and then begin doing that very thing that you feared. Right, your subconscious mind really cannot most of the time. It just can't tell the difference between reality and the worrisome and the worries that we have. Right, it just takes it as truth. And so when you do that, when you begin to give your subconscious mind evidence that this fear that you're experiencing, this emotion of fear, energy emotion, as you right, your body is vibrating this emotion of fear. Once you recognize that, it's nothing more than a mental model that you had from when you were growing up. You'll find that you'll accomplish a whole lot more that way. Now, another way to deal with fear is something I read in a book called Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear. And that is to have a serious talk with your fear. As if you were taking your fear on a road trip, and actually have a big talk with fear before you start the project. And if it's as if you sat fear down and said, "Hey, listen, here I'm about to embark on this journey, and I know you are there for my own protection, but I need you to take a back seat for now because I need to do A, B, C, and D. And I've done this before. I've succeeded in A, B, C, and D, and I know exactly what I'm doing. And I need you to be there, but at this time, I need you to take a back seat. I don't need you in the driver's seat right now. I am the driver. I'm driving, and you can just sit there. And I know you're still gonna talk. You're still gonna say these things, but I need you to tone it down a bit because I need to drive right now. I need to get to my decision." Again, there's a lot you could say. I don't remember the exact words from the book, but if you'd like, just get the book and you'll start to understand this, right? So, in other words, what this is saying is to accept your fear as a part of you, acknowledge its presence, and muster the courage to face it. Right? The courage to bring forth the work and treasures hidden within you. Right? Truly expressing the essence of who you are and becoming who you are born to be. I mean, nothing that life has to offer is worth the price of fear and worry. Otherwise, we would be living with regret and quiet desperation our whole lives. And that's what I'm trying to prevent here, right? Hopefully one of you will hear this message and take some action on a goal that you've thought of, or maybe a dream that you've had forever, right? And you can start brainstorming ideas on how and what action you can take today or tomorrow to make it happen, right? So you're not living this life of quiet desperation and this life of regret. Because in the end, right, it's got to be faith over fear. Now, did you know that fear and faith have something in common? Right? Fear and faith. They both require that you believe something will happen that you cannot see. Right? They require that you believe something will happen that really you cannot see. Right? It also takes the same amount of energy to believe as it does to worry. So don't waste your energy on worry. Use your energy to believe. Again, that's just a shift of perception here. And frankly, once we're able to make that shift, once we're able to see it from that perspective, it's just a matter of time before you achieve the very thing that you've been struggling to achieve, right? Because a lot of us, we start things and we stop them along the way because some of us are even have a fear of success, a fear of succeeding, because we know if we succeed, we're going to lose some friends. We know if we succeed, some people are going to look at us and think, well, they think they're all that. Well, that will happen. That's the price of success. I mean, many times it's not because you see them in a different light, but it's because they see you in a different light, because you've moved on and they remain stable. They remain constant in terms of who they were and where they've been in terms of growth. My whole goal here is to encourage you to grow, to encourage you to become better and be better and actually have the results that you could have in your life. So why don't you take some time today, think about some of the fears that you have, right? These 6 ghosts of fears that I mentioned earlier that may be stopping you from achieving your goals, from taking action on your dreams, and figure out how you can take action to face that fear, overcome it, and start enjoying the fruits of the labor that you put in spite of that fear. So that's it for me today. And thank you everybody for watching me live and just enjoying being here with me. Feel free, if you've got value out of what I shared today, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notified every time I go live or upload a new video. And also comment below. Let me know what you think. Any fear that you may have that that prevents you from living the life that you could live, right? From doing the things that will bring life, that will bring joy to you as an individual, right? From living into the expression and the fullness, really the expansion and expression and the fullness of who you are and who you were created to be in the image of your creator, God. So anyway, let me leave it here because otherwise I'm going to go on. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, and share. But do those, but also take some time to do the work that's required for you to overcome the fear. Okay? So until next time, my friends, honor your fire. Take care.
I don't have to party to have fun, you see. I got different hobbies, and that's all I need. Some say life is